Hey, welcome back to Episodes Wrong Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-hoster with me. Hey, Trip.
Hey, beautiful. How you doing?
How's it going?
Okay, I'm good. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm glad we're not talking over each other in the very beginning.
Never are. Hey, guys, this week we're going to be doing, we're talking a little bit about Given, which is a show from a couple years ago. Movie came out for it last year, and we're doing it because this month is Pride Month.
Yeah.
So we were trying to choose something to talk about that we hadn't before, because we've talked a lot about, different kinds of gay relationships in anime on the podcast in different shows, where it's like a main feature. So we decided to do Given, because the one that we wanted to watch, which couldn't find the name of it again, I have to go back through our texts. It was going to be an anime that's about a couple of teenagers that are trans, and they're realizing where their dysphoria is coming from and who they actually are. And I thought that would be really interesting, but Crunchyroll has taken it down. They had it up a couple of years ago, but I don't know when they took it down. It's just not available, and no other services had it available either. So I was kind of bummed about that. Yeah.
So we settled.
Well,
So we settled for Given, which is a show that I watched all of when it was airing. I was a real fan of it. And then you suggested, hey, let's watch the show and then do the movie, because that's something I hadn't seen. And I was like, yeah. I forgot there's going to be a movie. What's funny is that when I went back to listen to the episode we talked about this, I think it was spring 2019.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I was like, let me. I wonder what my thoughts were about this show. And I listened to all of it, and then even in that talk, it's like segment, you were like, "Hey, by the way, there's a movie." It's like, "Oh no, there's a movie." And you're like, "We should watch that eventually," and we just never got around to it.
Guess what? Now's the time.
Today,
we did it.
Today is eventually, so we finally did it.
It's fucking crazy. Who thought we would be here?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited for talking about this because I like it. It's great when you get to watch something that you like. It sucks when you get to watch something you don't like. It's really fun when you get to watch something really bad with your boys, which was last week, which was a great time. So
it was. By the way, I was just able to find the trans anime that we were unable to watch. It's called Horo Musuko, Wandering Sun. So if you are looking for it, that is how you'll find it. Hopefully you're having an easier time getting a hold of it than we were.
Maybe, so. and there's not to say that we don't get around to watching that someday, but right now we have to settle for Given. So
I would love to. I think that's something that we're not going to see explored too often in anime. You're not going to see those trans relationships explored. One of the closest things that we got to that was Tokyo Godfathers, which was fantastic. And I think the way that they handled that whole person's just like
story.
Yeah, I thought that it was all handled very well, very carefully and open.
Yeah,
showing like here's some issues, and here how most people are going to treat it that are used to them.
I still remember how that character story ended. Not well.
No, nope.
Yeah, it's sad. It's a good movie though.
Sure is. I think a lot of Satoshi Kon's stuff was pretty sad.
Yeah, dude. What a fucking bummer, right?
Yeah, God, love it though.
Hate that guy.
What?
No, he's great. He's great.
All right, cool.
Yeah, man. You keep fucking complaining about being super busy today. All week you've been busy, and I'm like, dude, just say it for the pod. So let's hear it, man. What has been going on with your life this week that's been crazy?
Nothing.
You went like this. You like pointed your fingers like. Come on, I want to hear what's going on with you.
I went and saw a couple of movies.
What'd you watch?
All right, so I saw Spiral. It's that movie that you saw a while ago.
Okay, yeah. Who'd you go with?
I went with Josh and Leandra.
No way.
Because Josh and I, we used to watch
that's
Saw movies while eating Taco Bell. We called it Saco Bell. Exactly.
So dumb.
So I wore the Taco Bell shirt that you had gifted me so graciously.
Yeah, for sure.
I made sure to wash that in time to do that because I'm like, we're not eating Taco Bell in the movie theaters.
Right.
That seems like a weird ass thing to do. So instead I'll wear my shirt. And then I decided, if I have enough energy for this, I'm going to make it a bit to where I always wear that Taco Bell shirt every time I see Josh, because how often am I going to see him? And will he ever notice, kind of thing, right?
That's pretty good.
But
I
then
like that.
The next day he texted me and he was like, you want to watch The Conjuring tomorrow night? And I was like, yeah, I don't have enough laundry to do. I don't want to just watch that one thing.
You instantly
for a really stupid bit that probably nobody would notice except for me.
Oh my God, that would have been so good. But I understand.
Good.
I understand.
The concept was there. The delivery, it's not going to happen.
Execution just didn't work out.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
You should have told me. I would have bought you another one at Target. You're like, dude,
I actually have a ton. I just keep them in my car just in case I run into them.
Oh, that'd be really good. They're not that expensive. You should just have like 10 of them on your car all the time.
Probably should, but oh well.
All right, we'll try this again. So you watched then The Conjuring.
I watched The Conjuring, the new Conjuring, which is called The Devil Made Me Do It.
Right.
One of the weakest ones in the whole
Conjuring
universe.
Good.
I think it was a little better than The Nun.
The Nun is in the universe. Oh, she is, yeah.
Remember that photo on the wall?
Yeah, that's her.
That painting or whatever? Yeah, that's The Nun.
I'm pretty sure that she wasn't... Because The Nun appeared in another movie, like, before The Nun. Like, she was, like, kind of like Annabelle. Annabelle's a part of that same universe, right?
Yeah.
And I remember them saying that The Nun wasn't even in the movie until, like, super late in production. It was like, oh, yeah, we just added her later. And I was just like...
That's the way it felt.
And then that spinned off and made its own movie, huh?
Yeah, so this new Conjuring movie was a lot of, like, hey, we're in the situation right off the bat, and the whole thing's just going to be about that one particular situation.
Okay.
And I don't remember how the second movie starts for the Conjuring series.
Oh, okay.
But, like, the first one... It starts with, hey, here's some stories. Like, this is kind of like what happened. This is the story of Annabelle. And, like, this is one of the things. Anyways, we're these people. And now we're going to go help out with, like, these other people.
Thing, yeah.
And it wasn't, like, right at the start that was starting with that Annabelle business. I think it did show, like, weird haunted shit might have been happening first. Or them moving into a house. I don't remember. But this one was very consistent with... somebody's possessed, like, immediately. And then it does go back and it's like... And here's when the possession started, and here's what's happening. It was about a curse instead.
Two things. Did the movie start with the guy walking down the highway?
No, that happened a little bit later.
Lame, because that's how I thought the movie started. And I really liked that.
Well, I guess spoilers for the first 10 minutes. His sister's little brother or something. No, not sister. Sorry. His girlfriend's little brother, they were siblings.
Okay.
His girlfriend's little brother was possessed. And then him being, a cool guy is like, hey, stop doing this to the kid. Like, come into me if you're going to, be an asshole.
Watch him murderize you.
Take it.
Yeah.
Anyways, he clearly couldn't take it. And then the trailers happen where he's killing. But.
Bummer. Okay, second thing.
Yeah.
Her running off the cliff is also in the trailers. Like, running towards the cliff. Did it look as bad as it did in the trailer? Because it was so shit. Yeah?
Yeah, there were a lot of parts that were really stupid.
Oh, nice.
Lots of it was really dumb, but...
Did you have a good time?
I had a lot of fun.
That's good.
And I think that, it was fine. The Nun was bad. The Nun was just a bad film.
Was your time at the movie theaters...
Dude, it was
better,
HBO.
Was it better than the time that we went to see...
Yeah, so when I went to go see Spiral, it was better. It was better than the time that we went to the movie theaters together.
With The Quiet Place, too? Yeah, because they're just people being assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sucks.
It was a little bit better for us to see Spiral, but then HBO had the Conjuring movie for free, so we just watched that there.
Cool.
It was dope. Yeah, and then other than that, I guess I've just been watching a fuckload of anime. I've had to pile in 60 episodes of anime in between these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're doing good.
That's so much goddamn anime. I don't know, man. I don't know how you guys do it out there. I don't know how you're watching that much. But yeah, it's a lot of anime.
Well, most people are watching One Piece, so that's
yeah,
it's more entertaining. There's more ha-has in it.
So I just feel like I've been so preoccupied because it's like, all right, get up. We're watching 5 hours today. Let's do it. And then you just sit there and you stare at the screen and you're like, this is a good time. But like... I like to break up my anime watching, and I don't really have that many opportunities because I do have other plans going on.
For sure, yeah.
It's been, like I said,
busy.
Not super busy, but busy.
Yeah, okay.
Busy.
What's up?
And then over the weekend, we played some Final Fantasy 14. It was chill.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. How high is your fishing level? 100? 200?
Yeah.
Nice. What's the biggest fish you caught? Dragon?
Eel.
Huh. Big eel?
Well, it was inside of, like, sand. So it was a pretty big deal. It was 12 levels higher than I was, which is, it's a little...
Humble brag. When you catch the fish, do you eat them, sell them, or they just kind of you collect them?
Yeah.
All
of those.
Really?
They don't. A lot of them don't sell for much. It's not a very lucrative thing. Thought it might be able to synergize a little bit better with cooking.
Didn't turn out that good.
Yeah. You don't always win.
Most chefs are just really poor, so...
Yeah, it turns out fishing doesn't bring you a lot of money. Cooking costs you a lot more money than... I think you're familiar with these things. Yeah. But it's been a lot of fun. We've been playing together, and we actually got to do some more difficult content that has like real ass mechanics in it.
Okay.
To where if you don't do it, you're fucking dead, kiddo. Barely scraped by. I don't know how we did in a couple of situations, just because people were not wanting to do certain mechanics.
How many?
Or not knowing what to do for certain mechanics.
How many you guys are playing together? You think?
Four.
Yeah. Okay.
4 for the good stuff at low levels, and then it gets up to 8, and then it gets up to 56. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
The natural progression.
8, 4, 8, 56. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a blast. I've been liking that a lot. Wes is our spirit guide, so he's been helping us out with things. Anytime that we have questions, we just refer to him and then look it up online.
Has he been playing for just forever, or
like
longer?
roughly eons?
Okay,
yeah.
I mean, because that game's been out for a while now, right?
Yeah, like at least a year.
Okay, and he's been on it kind of regularly.
Yeah, more than a year for sure.
That's cool. Good for him. I'm glad you have someone to help you along your journeys.
Dude, it's nice. I like having somebody that's like, how you doing, bud? Oh, yeah.
That's cute.
Great.
That's a cute little fish you got there. 12 levels higher. Nice.
See you later. And his buddy Cole is, he's in the same free company, which is like a guild or a group or whatever the fuck. And he's just like, yeah, if you need any money, let me know. And that's like such a hard thing because I'm like, yeah, clearly I'm broke trying to do this stuff that I shouldn't be trying to do right now. I could definitely use the money, but I'm not going to take somebody else's cash.
But he said,
I kind of want to take his cash.
Yeah, but he said he'd have it.
It's like such a tumultuous feeling of being like, you want to help me, and I want to give you that opportunity, but just taking your money.
Take his money. Take his money. Take his money.
I'm totally the same way. So what I do is I trade somebody and then I don't give them a choice. And I'm like, hey, man, here's a little something to help you out. And also a ton of money. All right, see ya. Yeah. That's the way I've always done it, which cracks me up.
Like, what the fuck? You're like, no, man, it's too late. It's yours now.
Yeah, people are just in it. They know that doesn't matter to me. I already gave it to them. They don't know how much money I have, you know?
That was all your money.
So, yeah, and asking, can I have a morsel, sir?
Please.
Can I have a measly $1 million to start me up in my business?
Yeah, well, you fucked up, dude. You wanted to fish and be a cook. Now you're screwed.
Now I'm screwed.
Take the boy's money. I take his money.
Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. Yeah. Who knows? Whatever. And then finally, I've talked about this on our stream today, but I was able to fix my webcam that had no issues with it at all. It just didn't want to do the thing that it was supposed to do.
Which is focus.
Which is, keep things in focus better. Essentially, it had like a range of about 2 feet, and now it has a range of about like
200 feet. Okay, yeah.
More like 10 to 12 feet,
that's pretty
I would say.
Still,
which is crazy because it hasn't been able to keep things in focus like at all. So I spent this whole time like taking it apart, and then that got fucked, and I had to wait a whole bunch longer. And then I got back to it right before we met up, and God, it feels good to have that fixed. Because if I didn't fix it, if it didn't work from all of that,
we couldn't stream.
Got to spend another couple $100 on a new camera, which would have been shitty since I didn't want to do that in the first place. And that's why I looked up how to like adjust the lens.
Yeah.
And I'm just like sitting there like,
Trip's like,
if I even scratch this a little bit, it's fucked.
And then you sneeze on it.
Yeah, I sneezed on it.
Yeah.
And I rubbed my cat on it. It was bad.
Trip was like, I really need that W, man. I really need that W. You used to paintball, right?
I mean, sure, yeah.
Yeah, when you were younger, you did it for a bit.
I mean, like, not really. I wanted to.
Okay.
But it was mostly just whenever a very few amount of friends were able to get together and do it. Probably paintball like 8 to 10 times.
Right. And the reason I think of that is because the whole lens. I remember paintballing for one of my first times and seeing people get ready to paintball, and they pulled their lens down. They just spit in them. And then you start rubbing the inside of it. And I was like, I thought that was like the grossest thing. And I was like, and then later on, I was like, after playing with the people for him, like, why did you guys use? Like, oh, it helps not fog up or whatever.
It does help not fog.
And I go, oh, cool. And I was like, I'm probably not going to spit in these rentals because someone's already spit in the rentals. So, but then I got my own things, and I there's also just like a coating you can like rub on it real quick to do the same thing. But if the camera ever fucks up, just give it a little hockaloogie on that bitch.
Yeah, man. Same trick for snorkeling. You just get a little bit of water in
their goggles.
Yeah.
They do that thing snowboarding or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They do that for like basketball. I know that people spit in each other's eyes, and then it doesn't get too foggy out.
Yeah. That's it. I think that's the joke.
Yeah, those are all the sports.
That's all the important sports. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
How did the paintball thing come up? Just because you were thinking
you were talking about
lenses
the lenses, yeah. It came in my head.
Yeah. No, I wasn't hardcore enough of a paintballer to
Be
have those
lenses?
kinds of
Yeah,
tips.
for sure.
Yeah. I played with somebody who had an automatic gun once, and that was not fun.
Yeah.
That was a real shitty, why are you coming here with that, man?
Maybe I was also thinking about paintball because I had to clean out my garage, and I found my paintball stuff. I was like, and I go, oh, nice. I'm gonna sell this shit. Like, I don't fucking need this. So I do have plans to go to the local paintball place and be like, do you want this? Give me monies because I don't use it no more. So
shoot at your dog?
No, it's fucked up. I did call.
It is fucked up, but you could.
I could. I did call them. I originally called them to be like, hey, I have this tank that's expired, but it doesn't say on it how to
take it off.
To get rid of it, like how to dispose of it properly. I was just like, can I just throw this in the garbage? Am I supposed to take it to a specific place? And the guy goes, what years I have on it? I was like 2018. I was like, so it's been expired for a bit. And he goes like, bring that in. I mean, we'll take that off your hands. It's like, okay. Like, you guys buy shit? They're like, sure do. I was like, okay, cool. Now we're talking. I don't know if any of this shit works, but you can have it for a fair price.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
That's been my week, man.
Cool.
That's pretty much it. Just too much anime, watching a couple of movies, meeting up with people in person.
Getting shit to work. Good job, man.
It's been productive.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Good job.
What have you been up to?
Let's see. So this past weekend, I went to my cousin's daughter's birthday. She's turned 2, and the theme of the party was Tutti Frutti. So everything was fruit themed.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Me either. Yeah.
Okay.
I usually wouldn't have gone to this kind of things, but he's like my cousin that he's one of my older cousins. I think might actually be my oldest cousin on my mom's side of the family, and he lives here, and all of his family lives in Mexico. And he got married, I think, a few years ago, and he's got this daughter. And he was like invited me, and I was like, I don't really feel like going. But then his wife also invited me and kind of made it clear, like, hey, Carlos's family doesn't really come to these kind of things, and it'd be nice if you could come. And I was like, oh, all right. I feel kind of bad now. So I went, and my other cousin also went. That's on that side of the family, and she has a kid, and I think they're partners. They're not married or anything, but we hung out with them, and we got to meet her side of the family and stuff. And she was really happy, and he was really grateful. So I was like, oh, cool. I'm glad that this made you guys happy or whatever. Not that I had a bad time, but it was more just of like a hanging out, free food, had a few drinks, and then kind of drove back because it was in Stockton. So it wasn't like a close trip. It was like it was a trip.
No, you did have to plan a little bit.
But it was fun. I mean, no complaints. That was nice to... I was essentially it was like a barbecue. I haven't been to a barbecue in a...
Dude, it's wild. Like I said, the earth is healing,
Everything's...
At least in the United States, we're able to meet up and stuff, which is wild, but still rad.
Hopefully other places get better, but it does feel nice to kind of do something that feels normal, right?
Yeah, because I mean, so far we've just been doing nerd shit and podcast shit with our meetups. So this is the first real going away interaction kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of that, Sierra also today left for a bachelorette party that her family friend had planned, childhood friend had planned, but they didn't know if it was going to happen because of COVID and stuff like that. But because of things, getting more relaxed and her being vaccinated and stuff, she's like, okay, cool. So they went. I think they're in Sonora, which I don't know where that is.
It's a county.
Yeah, and they're doing wine stuff and partying. I was like, cool, have a good time. I didn't know it was her 3-day trip was in the middle of the week, so that leaves me alone with my dog. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I gotta do all the dishes. I was just complaining about doing the dishes. So, but yeah, so she's out there. I hope she has a good time.
Yeah, I hope you have a good time too, Sierra.
I'm just kind of lonely, so I was joking that I was going to crash here, but you have the cat, so it can't happen.
It's just tough.
It's not going to work. Okay, on Monday, this workout equipment that I had ordered several months ago during the height of the pandemic to help work out or whatever was finally delivered. It should have been delivered 2 weeks before that, but it never got delivered, so I had to get it rescheduled. So it finally showed up. Yeah. The guy that showed it up, he had this massive truck. It was so big, and he's just like, I go, hey, do you want me to pull out my car? He's like, no, I got it. And he whips that bitch around, and he's that fucking close to my car. And
he's a champion, though.
And I
this
go,
is his job.
I look at it and I go, hey man, do you need me in my car? Because he's now looking over there. And he goes like, nah man, I just can't believe I got that fucking close to your car. I was just like, huh, okay. this dude was tall, dude, like taller than you.
Yeah. I've heard of people that tall.
He was like slender, but like fit, like strong.
Dude, he sounds good.
And he was Italian.
He's the perfect workout equipment installer guy. What's he do? Does he install it?
He installed it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
He had such a thick Italian accent that I was, while he was like bringing down the giant box and setting it up, I was thinking to myself, yeah, I can see why like, you know, middle-aged housewives just fuck delivery guys. You know, if this guy shows up, this guy's getting it. But no, I didn't put any moves on him. But he set up the thing. He was really nice. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go. And I was like, have a good day. And so the equipment's finally there. I was like, cool, time to work out. And I didn't want to work out on Monday because I was like, you know, I'm tired or whatever. But I was just like, hey, dude. In my head, I was like, I bought this thing.
You still haven't said
what
it is.
It's called the Tempo.
It's called the Tempo.
Yeah.
And I need you to describe it.
It kind of looks like,
because it blew my mind
when you saw
what was going on.
Yeah, it kind of looks. It's kind of like the size of your display case for your figures. And the front of it's a touch screen, and but below it there's like two doors that open up, and there's like weights in there. And on the back there's two like hooks where you hook on like the barbell and the dumbbells, and you connect it, you know, to the power source, and it has a speaker and it connects to Wi-Fi. And when you turn it on, you make a profile or whatever, and you can just do workouts and like you
electric weights.
Yeah, they're not electric. They're actual.
Yeah, you said you plug them in.
You plug in the thing.
No, I know.
Yeah, and then you know you have to stand like 6 or 8 feet away from it. It has a camera so it can see what your form is, and if you're doing something wrong on while you're doing your exercise, on the screen it'll say, hey, fix this, and it counts how many reps you do. There's like a heart monitor to tell you what your heart rate's at. You know, there's instructors and stuff. There's like a leaderboard. It's like it's supposed to make, you know, working out fun than like a video game.
Yeah, that's kind of what working out has been missing. Is just that like real drive to give you an enjoyable experience. So thankfully, there's music.
Oh yeah,
that kept people going for a while, and then podcasts and television, and you know, people usually watch other things. So then this thing coming around and having like more responsive input for you.
It's cool.
I mean,
it also plays music, you know, and you can connect my Bluetooth or my AirPods to it. So
so you're just listening to Smash Bros soundtrack the entire time.
Yeah, fucking Final Destination.
What about the World of Light or whatever?
No.
That whole theme song? No, that one doesn't do it for you.
It hurts too much. It's too strong. Yeah. It's too powerful. I don't want to break my weights. I just bought them, but so. Man. I was like, I have to do this workout. You have to use it. I was like, because I spent so much money on it, and it's finally here. It's like, let's fucking do it. You're also, besides picking classes, you can also sign up for programs. You're like, hey, this is a 3-week program focusing on this. This is a 4-week program working on that. So I picked the 3-week program focusing on like just essentially learning how to work out, because I've never worked out like this before.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, this is like the muscles you use for that. I was like, okay, cool. I think this is the best one for me. So I click on it. I was going to start it. And then it goes, whoa. Before you do this, you have to do like Tempo 101, where we're going to do a 24-minute workout. It's easy.
We have to do an easy tutorial workout
to teach you like what kind of workouts the machine has, you know.
And then by the end of it, you're like, fuck, I don't want to do it anymore.
I was fucking dead, dude.
Yeah.
I was just like laying on the mat, like looking up. I was like, I can't fucking move. And then like,
turns out that's for people that are already fit.
No. It was the beginner setting. And then like I sat up from like the mat, and my head was like, I was like seeing stars, and I go, oh, gotta lay back down. So I laid back down. I was just like, nice. That's what happens, you know, work out in like 2-3 plus years, you know. I was like, I'm fucking rusty, like super rusty.
It's tough.
So then I was able to get out of the garage and go to the living room, and like I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna sit down on the couch for a bit. I did. I was like, all right, time to go upstairs, shower, go to bed. And then like I take one step on the stairs and I can't get up them. So then I sit on the stairs. I go, well, I'll just sit here until my body allows me to do the thing I have to do. Eventually I make it upstairs, and I don't even shower, just pass out. I go to bed. I wake up the next day and I was like, oh, I gotta shower, go to work. And then like I step on the ground, on the floor, and like my legs instantly buckle. And I was like, oh my God. So shower, and I'm like holding myself, you know, everywhere I can, trying to sit on the toilet, like to use the restroom. I was like, I can't do this. I had to take the dog on a walk, so she's like pulling me just barely, and I'm like falling over.
And this is after you said 10 hours of straight workout? That's crazy.
This is 24 minutes of working out.
24 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's right.
It was the worst thing. And so then today
that sucks, man. That's really rough.
Yesterday was Tuesday, so there was another, like my next day of my 101, you know, I intro to the thing. It's like, okay, I can do this. Like I have to stay on it. Like if I don't stay on it, like it's what's the point? Plus, the reason I'm hurting so much is because I haven't used those muscles in so long. So it's just like, all right, my body has to get used to it, and then eventually, like, the pain, the soreness will go away. I've done that in the past, like when I used to work out. So like, I'm like, suck it up, you can do this. So I do this next workout, and it's like I did all the things fine because most of it was like upper body and like back workouts and stuff. And then they're like, cool, let's do squats. I go, fuck yourself. There's no way I'm doing a squat. And so like I try to do a squat, and I instantly just fall on my ass. And I was like, oh, this isn't happening. So today I woke up even more sore. I'm walking very slowly up and downstairs. I've been dreading having to come to your apartment upstairs.
I figured, yeah, that would be tough.
It's just a bunch of me going, ow, 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 like trying to get up there. And like my left ankle really hurts. I go, probably strained a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm glad I bought this device. I'm glad I'm trying to get, in healthier, better shape. My doctor did say I need to start working out. But no matter how cool and fancy this device looks, it is still just working out, and working out still just sucks ass. So, yeah, I've never been a person that's like one of those gym rats, like, oh, I love the indoor, like there are people who really get into the experience working out. I was never one of those people. I would go to the gym and I would hate every minute of it, and I would be done with it. Like, cool, I did that because it's good for me kind of thing. So it's like, I don't see the tempo changing that for me. It's still just me working out, but I want to stick with it and keep going. Luckily today was a rest day, so I'm fucking ecstatic. I think I'm setting up so every Wednesday is a rest day, so I'm just gonna waddle up the stairs to come do the podcast with you.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Imagine doing the podcast and then going to work out for like 30-40 minutes and be like, ugh.
I feel like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
You just die. The next day you don't wake up.
Sierra just finds me laying down in the garage. Like, what happens? Like, this workout was too hard.
The garage. Floor cold. Floor good.
It also like it'll suggest like, hey, use these like amounts of weights, so you put the weights on or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when you're done with that exercise, it goes, hey, well, how were the last weights? And if they were too hard, you can say, oh, we're too heavy. And then they go, cool. For this next exercise, maybe drop it down. So like it's really, I guess, it does help personalize it to you. The one thing I don't like is the coach being like, hey, man, you're going to be the better you. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I know. That's the kind of shit, the encouraging, like, fake ass. Yeah, I know. I paid for this. I get it. That's like money is the motivator. Come on.
Yeah. So it's like I got to get my dollar's worth. But yeah, but there are people who need to hear that. Like, hey, man, be the best you can be. I mean, it's like, shut the fuck up and let me do this fucking exercise. Luckily, I found out that there's a way to put the volume from the music up and the volume for the person down.
Nice.
so they're they're just like, hey, man, we're about to do this. I'm like, okay, cool, nice. You're whispering. I'm going to listen to fucking Nicki Minaj's new hit single or whatever, because I can pick what music I want.
Very cool.
It's either modern hip hop, classic hip hop. Actually, one of the sections options this week is Pride music. So I haven't picked that one, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow.
Maybe it's the time to do it. Yeah,
why not?
Sure.
But yeah, so that's been a whole thing.
So one of the motivators for me getting my VR stuff back up and running, which is going to be hard considering we have a table in front of us for the podcast now. But one of the motivators for that is it is a fucking workout. It's a lot of effort to play Beat Saber and stuff.
You got to move, right?
And a lot of crouching and like moving side to side and whatnot. So I'm excited for that. But so my friend who's coming over tomorrow, who hasn't had a chance to play VR at all, and she's wanted to, and she's had a couple of opportunities, but just like things didn't really line up well. So fuck it. I was like, hey, got everything updated for tomorrow. We're going to be good, but you have to help me move a table out of that room, and then we're good. And she's like, good. I've been needing to work out, so moving that table will be a good thing. And I'm like, the table moving isn't the workout, dude.
Yeah.
Like, she's a pretty athletic person anyway. Yeah. So, I'm excited for her to be able to play VR and be like, oh shit, I am actually able to get like physically a little bit worked up.
I would, if I weren't as sore as I was right now, Trip, I would so gladly help you move this table out of here.
Nah.
But I'm not going to.
It's too late. I'm not going to want to do it at midnight.
Good.
There's no way. I still have to edit shit.
Like, that's true. That's right. All right, cool. Well,
no.
Well,
she's going to help me out. It makes me fine.
Yeah, it makes me feel better that I said I'd offer, but actually wouldn't offer. So I feel good.
Hell yeah.
The last thing I want to tell you about was at work today. I only remembered because usually when I talk about work stories, they're usually like,
you always whine
people
about
being dicks or whatever,
people being assholes.
But today was really funny. I was working with my brother-in-law, and you've seen my brother. Have you seen my brother-in-law?
Yeah,
he's like a tall guy. I think he's fairly handsome. He's got like nice hair and stuff. So he's a good-looking dude. Maybe he's a little better looking than me. Anyways, we're working, and he's on the cash register, and I'm like kind of helping take the orders out and stuff. and a guy and a girl come in, and I remember the guy who went to high school with him. I don't remember his name. I just remember him being there, and that sounds mean. Him going to the same school as we did. We were in different circles or whatever, but I remember him, and he was just like talking and stuff, like, hey, how's it going? Like, all being hey, polite. And then he was with some girl who was she just seemed out of it, dude. Like, she, like, her like eyes just seemed to be like on a different plane of existence, but having a great time, like in the most positive way. I'm like, cool, man, good for you. It's like 11 o'clock, and you're tripping balls. So have a good one.
Jesus.
And so, my brother-in-law goes like, hey, what can I get you? Right. Cause that's like kind of and then the guy goes, give me a second. And then the girl looks over and he's like, she says, can I get a piece of him? And she's talking about, and then the guy goes, girl, shut the fuck up. Stop. Like, you're embarrassing yourself essentially. And then he's just like, my brother-in-law was like, okay, I'm just trying to do my job. And then he takes his order, and then he also goes, oh, by the way, congratulations on your wedding. I saw your photos on Instagram, essentially kind of like putting that out there so his friend would not continue to hit on my brother-in-law. I didn't stop her. So then she ordered her food and kept hitting on him. And then she leaves, and I go, Brandon, did she just say? He's like, yeah, she did. And I go like, man, what is it? And I was like, you don't look any different today than you did like other days. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's like something I sprayed on myself today. It's like, but I'm getting hit on a lot today. And I was like, I go, what? That's not the first time. He's like, nah, earlier some chick said this. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, hey, man, watch yourself, bro.
Hey, he's having a good day.
I was like,
nothing wrong with that.
You keep this shit up, I'm going to tell my fucking sister that you're fucking flirting with chicks.
You're allowed to have a good day, man.
Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the order out to them. You stay here, right? So I took out his order first, the guy's order, and then I took out the girl's order. And I was like, she was in her car, and I was like, order this, chimichanga. And she looks over and she's just like, hey. And I go, you see, it's not just Brandon. I got it too. No big deal. And I'm like, here you go. Here's your order. And I go back in and I'm like, Brandon, you're not that special, bro. Like, she's just giving it out to anybody. So you ain't the best. But that was one. And then later on in the day, somebody else also started hitting on him. And I was like, man, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm right fucking here, dude. Come on, man. Maybe in 3 months after, my tempo, I'll start getting hit on. I usually get hit on by older women, but I don't know. He was having a good day. So I just thought it was really funny that the gall for this girl. Maybe it must have been her being super high, that she had like no inhibition. And she was just like, I'll have a piece of you. I was like, ooh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Very rad, man.
Very fun work story.
Radical.
Positive work story.
Yeah.
No one was hurt in the making of that work story. Yeah, man, that's it. That's all I've been up to. What do we do next? Do we do anime that we're watching?
We sure usually will, or whatever else we've been watching. If there's other television type things.
There's stuff I wasn't to watch. I tried to watch the Bo Burnham special, but
it's so good.
I was telling you it was really sleepy, and I was like, I want to actually watch it because I think I watched like 4 or 5 minutes, and then I was like, this is really good. I have to turn it off because I was falling asleep because I was super tired. And then you mentioned like, hey, you have to watch this. Like, yeah, dude, it's for sure on my radar. Like something I want to get into.
Yeah, man. Eliza told me, because I've been wanting to rewatch it. Mm-hmm. She has rewatched it already. And she's like, yeah, no, it definitely had a different perspective the second time through, which is what, I kind of was hoping for. It's a very different thing.
Different. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
The second half, I think it's really introspective in an interesting way that he hasn't really explored before. Because most of Bo Burnham's stuff is pretty goofy, pretty over the top. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a little bit offensive.
Yeah,
but
kind of crass. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, but usually it's a cool perspective on some kind of a social situation or issue or whatever that he turns into a song. And that's a lot of what his new special is, while also being very vulnerable in the second half and very it almost feels like you're watching a vlog of somebody just like going through the pandemic.
Right.
And going through different emotional like leaps and situations and like not meeting goals that he set up for himself and being very candid about it. Mm-hmm. It was a very interesting special. Really, really like it. I think that people should go out of their way to take the time to watch all of it.
Focus on it, yeah.
It is pretty easy to access in like just little segments because, he's got a lot of songs, a lot of bits, and you don't need to watch all of it together in order to appreciate them. But in order to appreciate the entirety of the project, I think it's more important for you to watch it all the way through from the beginning to the end. Mm-hmm. Because there's a very clear midpoint where things change to be more it's just instead of it being a special, instead of it being like an entertainment comedy project, it turns into, nope, this is my life project right now. Right. This is about me. It's an exploration of himself instead of society.
Or like
while also maintaining that how does he fit in to these different societal situations?
It's interesting.
It's great.
Yeah, it's different.
Fucking good, man. Maybe I just really appreciated it because I haven't seen anything from anybody too big celebrity wise that has explored those kinds of areas before, or like as uniquely in some way. Because like he made 8th Grade.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. Oh. Just so uncomfortable, so good, but it feels like the perspective of an 8th grader is just like nailed perfectly. They did such a good job of that, right?
I feel like I know what it's like to be a girl in middle school, and it's like,
all the insecurities are really magnified for the movie, but it also feels so authentic and grounded in reality.
Gucci.
Gucci, baby. But then his new special feels like it takes that and does it with his own life. While maintaining his own like spiel about things. Plus, he got a lot better at writing music. Since it's not a live performance, he was also able to like use a lot more editing on his voice and on the just overall production.
The production, like the fact, I see him like messing with the lights. I go, oh my god, that's so much work. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I'm super excited to like sit down and properly watch that and just kind of enjoy it. That's on my list, and I also want to watch the second season of Love, Death, and Robots, which I tried to watch it one night, but I was super drunk. I was like, I can't do this.
I've heard mixed things about the second season from fans of the first.
Okay,
so I'm really hoping that you like it.
I really
because I've heard like very positive and overall negative, but not like, I think it's more of a disappointed because they liked the first season so much.
Well, hopefully it's not like that. I might just be super biased because I am a huge fucking bitch for that first season. Like I love like even the ones that suck. I go, that one's pretty good because of these reasons, kind of thing. Fucking Space Farmers. Oh, come on, dude, get fucking so good. I would play the shit out of that video game. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, have you been watching anything else? Because I don't think I've been watching anything really.
I have not had time.
Nice. Do you want to hear about the long list of anime I've been watching?
Yeah, sure, man.
I watched 2 animes this week.
Fuck. Okay, yeah.
I was able to hang out with Shannon, and I was able to watch a bunch of the My Hero that has been dubbed.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
2 episodes behind, but the most recent episode I watched was Bakugo just wrecking shit.
Yeah. I
forgot how easily he handed those guys an ass whooping. He's so dope.
His own team a little bit too. It was great.
Yeah. I also, because now that we're talking about it, seeing Ida pull those things out of his fucking leg,
gnarly,
brutal.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
You were just like, yeah, man. And I'm like, no, it's not just a yeah, man.
I didn't remember what that was, and then I was just like, oh fuck, like that just so heavy, like
he's ripping metal out of his flesh.
Does that mean
it's gnarly?
Does he put different mufflers in? Do other mufflers grow?
He puts other ones in.
That's so gross, though. But he's so fast.
He's a big, fast boy.
I love how fast he is. I love him kicking the shit out of that guy. The swimming guy, super OP power, by the way. Yeah.
Most of the other team had some overpowered shit.
The mushroom chick? How is that fair?
So, the whole problem that Kyle and I have been having with, like, Class A versus Class B has been Class A, bunch of heroes doing hero shit.
Yeah.
Class B, a bunch of heroes doing villain shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to grow fungus in your lungs. You'll be fine as long as you go take care of it right away.
Exactly.
It'll go away in 2 hours. It's like, what? That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm literally going to throw shrapnel at your face because that's my power.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't kill you.
Their powers do seem villainous. Like,
it's because they're going all the way and they're like, Class A needs to defend against it. We're supposed to, be beating them. If this was a villain, we would be doing it this way. And Class A is like, if it's a villain, we aren't killing them. Except for Bakugo, who's like, we're winning no matter what.
I'm going to kill anybody. Yeah. It's also really funny. Ida always takes, the scenario super serious where he's just like, oh, we'll defeat you, villain. I was just like, these guys are fucking villains.
They are.
Yeah.
The whole time I don't remember what the first match was, but I remember being like, isn't that a little fucked up?
What was the first match?
And then the mushroom girl was definitely fucked up. I was like, I don't like her anymore.
First match was the chick with like the vines and the dude with the the voice thing, the purple haired guy, was teamed up with like Shocky Dude, and Froppy, and maybe Red Riot.
Yeah, so there was Steel Man, there was Beast Boy.
There's a dude that did the box thing. He could like put you in like those cubes.
Maybe that's the one that I was like, that's fucked up. I don't know. There's just always fucked up. Like the guy who turns people into meatballs.
Yeah, but that's from a different school. Fuck that guy.
Exactly. Well, there's all that kind of shit where it's like, yeah, they want to be heroes, but their powers
are
that's super dark.
Yeah, like Melt Guy. That's super OP. Even the dude that just makes comic book words come to life. I was like, how? How's that fair? He's just like...
He's got a Superman problem is the way it seems in a way to where he can demolish so much so easily.
Yeah.
But if he's being a hero, then he shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. I also think it's wild that like he's got that weird face. I go, so did he come out the puss looking like that? Or did like when his powers manifest when he was 5, his just face turned into like manga, fucking panels. That's weird. It's not My Hero's strange, but I like it. So it's
fun, and that's all that I care.
Yeah. So I agree. This season's really fun. It does give season 2 vibes, which is one of my favorite seasons. So
yeah, I like it when the stakes are low, but like we get to see the powers interacting pretty well.
Yeah, in
a somewhat realistic hero training environment. Although I feel like they're able to repair everything and get it cleaned up way too quickly.
Well, sometimes they also go, okay, well, now we're moving to a different section.
They keep saying that, but I feel like they've ran out of sections. Yeah. Or if they were in that section, it would spread into another one just naturally by some of their abilities and shit.
I think it's just a case of like in this world, Japan's is just larger, kind of like One Punch Man, where like everything's just bigger. So so we don't have to worry about that. I do think it's really funny that the robots that have to clean everything up are always complaining, like, why the fuck do we got to take people to the doctor? Like, and they're like chipping away at like things. It's like, yeah, it's so far I'm enjoying the seasons. It's
been a lot of fun.
The other show I was able to watch this week was that caught up with was To Your Eternity. I think the most recent episode is I don't know if you're caught up. It's The Masked Boy.
Yeah, no, I'm always one behind.
Okay, so you're one behind. So yeah, so
it was The Masked Boy. Essentially, he ran away.
Okay, so in this one we
because by the way, Grandpa
fucking monster. Yeah,
he's a cruel son of a bitch. Anyways,
yeah. So the grandpa put besides fixing his face, I guess, put alcohol in his stomach, like
gave him like a new organ.
Yes,
to produce alcohol.
To not produce. What's the word? To like brew it. There's like it doesn't make alcohol. Like he has to put it in there, and it essentially like he's like a barrel, right? Like which makes sense why he's shaped the way he is. Which is upsetting. But yeah, he runs away in that last episode. In this most recent episode, we see him dealing with being running away, and then eventually we see our homie like try to like bring him back and stuff. And it's nice. I really like that character. And because I was focusing this time on the intro, I don't think this guy's going to die anymore. I think he's going to be fine. I was always thinking like, oh, this guy's going to die. Just because like so far we've been seeing every character kind of show up or whatever. Like every time a new character shows up, I go, oh no.
Yeah, but like Grandma's not dead.
Yeah, but
there are certain things.
But what I'm saying like is like from every story arc, like a new story arc, like a new collection of people, like we get a new person, right?
Isn't he like kind of a crossover story arc because Grandma came from one situation into another, and then he's also there?
I feel like this is the
No, I know.
You know what I'm saying? But because he was like I think such an interesting design, I go, fuck, this guy's gonna fucking cop it. But in the intro, I was focusing, and you see a version of him who looks older with like a different mask and like chucking his spear. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe he becomes an adult and he doesn't actually die. So
yeah, and I think he's from the way the intro looks. Now we understand how he's going to be able to breathe fire.
Yeah, which is sick as
that's
fuck.
Gonna be cool.
Which I didn't get until I was like, okay, I think you mentioned like, yeah, something about fire. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like,
look at the intro.
Yeah. I wasn't paying attention. I was like, fuck yeah, that's sick.
It's sick. I've had the intro song stuck in my head like all week, by the way.
Oh, helmet, so we can get fucking...
It's Pink Blood by Utada Hikaru. It's got like a lot of different stuff going on. So she's like singing Pink Blood over and over. And then she's like, da-da, da-da, da-da.
Oh, yeah, that was really good. I like that one. It feels
really good.
It almost feels like it doesn't fit with the show, but I really like it.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. I've had that song stuck in my head all week, man. I'm showering and I'm like, I'm not listening to the song that I want to be listening to. I just want that on repeat. I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm not doing it. It's one of those songs that's going to be in my head forever.
That's why I listen to Stand By Me by the Peggies instead.
Good call.
Good call. That's it, man. That's the only anime I got around to. I wanted to watch more, but I was just busy work, dishes, dogs, working out. I was like, I can't get around to it. But soon I'm going to have to. You know, I feel like the wrap-up stuff's getting close. Everything's near episode, I think like 8 or 9s. I think we're getting up there. So things are coming to an end.
We're getting there.
Yeah. But what do you watch?
All right.
Without spoiling too much.
Well, let's get into Zombieland Saga, I guess, first.
No spoilers.
Keep it nice and easy. We finished up the back in time story arc.
Yeah, the one that you weren't liking. Did it get better or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure some people loved it, but it wasn't particularly for me. But I did see somebody mentioned, and it must have been the first episode of Zombieland Saga. It shows all of the characters, and they're still zombies. They haven't become sentient yet.
Yeah.
And they're all just doing weird shit, and you don't really know what they're doing. But it turns out that they're doing the last thing that they were doing before they died.
Okay.
So a lot of them are just doing different stuff. So some people are trying to perform. Some people are looking for other people. One of them has been driving a motorcycle because she was driving when she died. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. So you could see them as zombies still trying to do these things, but without they're all clustered together, all doing their own individual things.
Right.
Which I think is cool. It's just interesting.
What was the main girl doing? Wasn't she trying to cross the street?
Alive.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't get to see.
Oh, right. That makes sense. That makes more sense. Okay. Yeah,
she was vibing.
She hadn't been dead yet. Yeah.
Well, she was dead, but then she was alive. She was the first one that came to.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was just what's going on? What the fuck is happening here? Why are they screaming? What's going on? But she realized she was the zombie at that point.
But you're glad to be back in, because that ended up the back.
And I liked it too. It wound up being a really cool backstory for the girl from that time period. Okay. Essentially, it was a bunch of government power things, and then she wound up saying that she was the one that did some stuff in order to save other people. Mm-hmm. So then the government chopped off her head.
Fuck.
Yeah. It was in a little encampment, and they took her, and they were in front of a group, and cut her head off in front of everybody. It was a real solid look at the end of that's war. So it was cool that they were able to show that, and she always has her
scar
neck covered up.
Is there? Do we still need to find out how other people died yet? Or is that all of them?
I think that's all. I don't know.
Even the chick that's super dumb that's still a zombie. Did we find out what?
Oh no, we don't know what's going on with her.
Okay,
she's just vibing. I hope she never comes to.
She's the one that won the lottery.
Yeah, she's the one that was able to pay off their house payment and all of their band funds and everything.
Well, that's lazy writing.
A dumb episode. I love it.
Stupid.
So yeah, that was a chill ass, good ass time. Mm-hmm. I didn't talk about the Snow White notes last week.
That's one we forgot.
Yeah, that's the one we forgot because it's a worse version of Given.
Yeah,
and way less gay, which
we're not about this month.
There aren't relationships in those Snow White notes, which can be a good thing. But then at other times it's there needs to be a little bit more investment.
What keeps you there? Because at a certain
I love music.
That's what I'm thinking. Because at a certain point, you would just be like, yeah, he needs to find his music, and then at some point, he's just being a dick,
But I love the music so much. Okay. I love that style of music, and I like that they're able to go into more details about how certain things sound certain ways. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always like watching these music shows, is because they can sometimes get into the different theories behind how certain styles of music and genres are written and made.
Right.
Given's whole thing with a comparison point is needing to find the thing that inspires you to write music. And this one is trying to give you that thing that inspires you to enjoy music again. Mm. So yeah, you got to have a drive is essentially what the deal is. So
how's the show? It's
fine.
It's fine. Okay.
Yeah. They had a whole competition thing going on. The competition ended. They
lost.
Yeah, I don't remember what place they got. They didn't win.
Not first.
Yeah, they definitely didn't win. And there's going to be more performances as well. But it's good. I like it. The music's cool. It's a chill time. It's whatever.
Okay, what else?
I'll keep watching it every week. What else is on
Crunchyroll? Odd Taxi.
Odd Taxi. I should be caught up with you. You watched it last week, right?
No.
Oh, no. Then I guess I'm one ahead of you. Yeah, it was another great episode. All of these things that happened in it, I feel like are pretty big spoilers at this point.
Well, they don't say anything.
But it definitely gets more into their different relationships.
Okay.
And what is our main character's drive behind everything? They're starting to bring that up.
Why can't he sleep?
Like, hey, are you in love with this person? Like, is that why you're trying to help them so much? Or like, what's going on? You seem like you've been paying attention to weird shit for a while. Why are you even a taxi cab driver? You know, just getting into all the different elements of that.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
They're trying to find out what kind of guy he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was a pretty good scene, a rooftop scene is all I'm going to say. Good shit happens on rooftops in anime. Usually it's more internal type stuff, you know? Somebody's going through something, the rooftop, it like symbolizes certain shit, and then usually there's a conversation up there and they're just alone on the rooftop. But this is Odd Taxi, so you know.
Right. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else that you watch on Crunchyroll.
We got My Hero.
Right.
And we got To Your Eternity.
Right. We already talked about those.
Uh-huh.
I think that's it. I think that covered your Crunchyroll.
That sounds about right.
And Zambiland Land Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about Funimation?
Vivi, dude.
I wanted to watch it, but
you know how the last episode ended.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah. Well, it starts out like a couple of seconds before that, like a minute or two before that is where this next episode starts.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not doing My Hero recap type shit. It's instead just like, here's a different perspective of the last 2 minutes of the last episode so that you could kind of see what else is going on. And then it gets into like, did they do it? Did they not do it? Did they succeed in some capacity? Mm-hmm. And it goes forward with other characters that you might be somewhat familiar with, which is exciting, just in new ways.
Okay.
It was a really fun episode, and fuck, dude, I keep watching it, and it keeps
surprising you?
No, it just keeps being so easy to compare to like Nier Automata.
Okay.
I feel like those two shows have so much of a correlation of like the humanity and like how robots view certain things, and I don't know. It feels incredibly similar to Nier Automata, which I fucking loved. One of my favorite video games because of the story that I didn't expect to enjoy that much at all. Vivi is doing a very similar thing to where it's just giving you different kinds of perspectives on the different issues between humans and robots in the future, that you don't realize that there will be this like kind of a political somewhat, you know, perspective on certain things that eventually gets into just full on kill all the humans because, you know, we're better at living anyways. We're better at being humans.
Yeah. I'm really excited for that show. Yeah, I don't want to. I almost watched it today, and I was looking at the time. I was like, it's 22 minutes. I got to be there in 30 minutes, and I go,
not worth it.
I can't do it because I don't want to like freak out. But yeah, I'm excited.
I hate coming down to the wire. Like when I was fucking around with my camera, I was like, coming down to the wire. But this is what I have to do. Exactly. I didn't think I was gonna have to bust out a fucking drill for this shit. But okay. Anyways.
Yeah. So okay, what else? What else is there?
Then we got Shadow's House.
How's Shadow's House?
It's another good one, man.
Hey, how's
another good one. Emilico and Kate meet up. That's all that I'm going to say about that.
Okay, good.
They found each other. I think everyone has found everyone that needs to be found. Mm-hmm. But now the issue is each cage or box or whatever had its own form of a puzzle in order to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
John was able to fucking explode his box thanks to his soot powers.
But at what cost?
Which wasn't necessarily something that they had planned for. They don't know these shadow soot powers.
Right.
Or if multiple people have them. Like, we know that Kate has soot powers. We also know that John has them. Do the other people have them?
Yeah, we don't know yet, yeah.
And it seems, this was the most interesting part of the episode to me. It seems like at some point, every single shadow and face will meld.
Ooh.
So it's not just the one dude.
You think that's like everything? Like after the debut, maybe that's what happens? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because somebody was like, hey, your face is showing right now. Just so you know.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, my bad. I didn't mean to. I just got excited. It was like it keeps being more and more like, what's this whole like,
what's your vibe, dude? Yeah, what's going on, bro?
I don't know what's going on. So yeah, it was another fantastic episode. Nothing bad to say. I really, really liked it.
Okay.
But it's still not doing anything that's like, bro, this is the best show. You're going to be so surprised.
Yeah.
It's none of that shit. It's just good. And the Megalobox.
Bro,
good episode.
This show was,
this one, I think with Megalobox, everything is really good, really enjoyable. But it's kind of it's not flashy, right? There are no moments during it where you go, this is so fucking cool. It's just like a good show.
Okay.
So I keep watching it, keep having a fantastic time. I like the story arcs that we're going for. I like what's happening with all the characters, even minor characters, what's going on with them. It's been, this season's been a ride. I'm super into it. And it is announced for a dub on Funimation, so that's rad too.
Nice.
Hell yeah. And then last show, Super Cub. It's good, man.
Good.
I don't want to spoil it because I know you like your chill times.
Don't spoil the one show that has no plot that I watched this season.
I'm not going to spoil it.
You fucking dare.
But it's pretty charming.
Say one word. Say one word. I dare you. Because it's to embody the entire show. That episode.
Pleasant.
You piece of shit.
That's it.
All right, go on.
That's all the anime. Aside from next week, we will be reviewing March Comes In Like a Lion. Mm-hmm. So I have been going to town on that shit. Right. And we'll have a lot to talk about next week, which is good.
Yeah.
And I've been watching Given.
Yeah.
Our topic for this week.
But before this topic, we've got to get to the 3 pieces of news that we have.
Yeah, what do you want to hear about first? Do you want to hear about the thing that you're pretty aware of, or do you want to hear about some stuff that you don't even know about?
Don't even know about to pretty aware of. Let's go in that order.
Okay. The Detective Is Already Dead begins July 4th with a 1-hour special.
No clue what that is. Thank you. You nailed it.
Good. Higurashi Sotsu will begin airing on July 1st.
Don't know what that is either. Do I know what that is?
You know what half of it is?
Higurashi? What's that?
You remember that show that you watched that we talked about last week and you were like, I don't have any idea what that is.
When they cry. Yeah. God damn, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay, cool. I'm excited now, I guess.
There you go.
Good job.
Finally, Wonder Egg Priorities special is going to be June 29th, which we've talked about enough. It will be up to 1 hour long. So it will not be more than 1 hour, but it will be up to 1 hour. That was the specific phrasing that I think is important to bring up again this week.
Huh. Wow, you did really good of giving me that in the order of not knowing anything.
Anytime that you ask me to do something for you, I will do my best to do it the best I can for you.
Thank you. I liked all those pieces of news.
I got you, man.
Now we can talk about Given if you want.
Sure, yeah. So this week we're talking about Given. We're doing that because this is an anime about a couple of boys that are in a band together that also have a crush on each other, but of course they have some difficult relationships. And we're doing this because it's Pride Month.
Right.
And I haven't really ever talked about it on the podcast. Not really going to talk about it now either, but this is the first month I've been able to celebrate Pride as an asexual person.
Oh, cool.
Realizing my whole life people have talked about other people in certain ways where I've never connected, never understood. And then finally, after learning more and more about asexuals and kind of how they see different things, I was able to find out that I am demisexual, which just means that if I have a romantic interest with somebody, I'm able to have a sexual interest in them, but there's no differentiation between anybody else. Okay. Everyone else is pretty much the same. I feel nothing sexually towards anybody
so
at all.
We're all in the same playing field.
Until we hit a romantic relationship.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just my brain doesn't have that connection. So I've never had that. So when people, as a young boy, are just like, oh, that girl's so hot and that girl's so hot and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Cool. What are you going to do about it? Nothing.
I also like girls. So what? And then, of course, because I also just liked girls, I was like, well, I'm straight.
Yeah.
Definitely not gay, which everyone thought I was gay for such a long time.
Dude, same.
So long, which is fine.
Something wrong with it.
Who cares? But I knew that wasn't right at all. But I also...
Hold on. He knew... Okay, when Tripp says that, he knew that it wasn't right that he was, gay. Not that it's wrong to be gay. Come on, guys. Be cool.
No, I knew that everyone assuming that wasn't the right assumption.
That's not it. You're like... You're like, no,
Yeah, and I always just identified as straight because I felt like I was. And then I realized at a certain point, I don't think like many other people think, and that's why I've never been able to connect with these things.
Okay.
And seeing more online, especially this last year, since more people are putting themselves online, being stuck inside during the pandemic, I had been able to see more people talk about their sexuality in different ways. Learned more about asexuality, was like, maybe I'm something in that.
Yeah.
And then I found out about being demisexual, and I was like, God damn it, that's me. I figured it out.
And it's got demi in the title. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's I guess being younger, I guess growing up, you think like, oh, you're either straight or gay, right? Like there's that kind of
was
like
all like growing up in the 90s.
Right? Exactly. It was like, he's like,
That's all
hey,
we know.
you either like what you're supposed to like or you like the other thing. So it's like one or the other. And then there was also the connotation of being like, oh, it's wrong to be that other way, right?
Yeah, and then we later learned there's a spectrum
exactly
between being gay and straight. And you learn that everyone's a little gay.
Yeah.
And then you get older and people become more and more aware of their sexualities. Exactly. And we've been able to explore different sexualities as culture.
Yeah, as people, as we've matured as a society and as humans. It's good though because just not only sexuality is on the spectrum. There's so many things on our spectrum, right? Like that. At one point, it was though like, oh, it's binary. It's one or zero, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like no, just like there's not black and white. There's so many grays in between. So it's cool that you're able to.
It doesn't make me feel any differently personally,
but to know, but just it's this cool.
Yeah, it's something. Other people feel the same way that I do. I didn't realize that was a specific thing. I just thought that's
well, and then to be very fair, I've had because you and I have been friends for 5-ish years, right?
Yeah, like we've known each other for a long time.
Right,
we've been friends for less, but it's still a very long time.
We weren't friends until like 2 years ago.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. Not until the pandemic hit, and I was like, I miss him. I guess we are friends.
Oh yeah. But there's people that who I'd known longer than that would always be like, hey, so what's Trip's deal? And I go, I don't fucking know. And it was like,
to me, it's been something that I'm like, it's my business. Who gives a fuck?
Well, that's how I felt about it. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, and I go, it doesn't matter because. All we do is hang out and do this stupid anime stuff. It's not like I'm like, yo, dude, but what if he's, like it doesn't affect me in any way. So I was like, I never cared to ask you to label it. I was like, whatever, it is what it is.
Plus, I wouldn't have been able to tell you.
Because you didn't know.
Like, there's nothing.
And then
what do you mean?
Yeah, locked up. We got locked in.
This last year, I'm like, oh, it's easy to explain to people now.
You got locked in a house, in your room for a year, and you're like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna work this one out. Cool, man. Good for you.
It's rad. So yeah, now. I figured we should do something for Pride, especially because it's the first time that I'm able to feel like I'm a part of it. So why not talk about something super gay?
Yeah.
And I am into it, man. At the beginning of the episode, I said I liked Given. It was great. But each episode I watched, I was like, I just want to keep watching more. And the only reason I didn't watch it initially is because there was so much else going on during that season that it just had to be like, all right, well, I don't have that much time for all this anime, so what am I going to cut out? The music one, I guess I'll cut that one out. And yeah, it was so good and it was so compelling.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
It was great.
I remember being like watching and be like, would Trip like this? And I go, I don't know, maybe. But there also was a season of it being very busy. It's like, well...
it's always hard to know exactly what's going to happen that season because there are other things that I'll put on and I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to have a good time with this. And then I realize I'm not having as good of a time and maybe I should have kept watching another one. But then usually those ones you're like, eh. And I think that season you kept watching Given and I was like, yeah, keep telling me more.
I was like,
I eventually would like to watch this. I'm glad that we got there.
I think, I did kind of keep you up to date. I'm pretty sure like the old episode I listened to, like the wrap up, I'm pretty sure I spoiled it for you. Like I told you things, but because it's probably so long ago, it probably didn't matter to you. But I was like, yeah, I really like that show.
I also didn't really care about certain things that happened.
Right.
Because, I feel like the point of this show, while it is completely about these two characters and their relationship, it's about a lot more moving parts and the finer details and just how they act about things. So even if like, yep, this specific thing happens, it's like, okay, but I'm not invested in the characters.
Right.
So it doesn't have that same kind of impact. It doesn't spoil anything for me. I'll still be able to get invested in the characters.
I get what you're saying. And like, it's not like if I go and I say, hey man, they play the song at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And like
I remembered you being like, oh man, it was one of the few times where it was like, yeah, they talked about the music being great.
Yeah.
And I actually understood
it. Exactly. But and then I think I mentioned like, hey, and like, they didn't know if he was going to sing, and he sung, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not going to spoil the show for you because it's really not about what happens in the show. It's more about
it's kind of predictable.
Yeah, they're going to do it. It's fucking but I really ended up liking the characters and the way that they interact with each other,
and the way that they revealed more about themselves.
Yeah,
it started out and it was like, all right, these two dudes are a couple of gay guys.
Right.
One of them knows how to play music. The other one has a guitar for some reason. Oh, it turns out it was his old boyfriend's.
Right.
And it seems like his boyfriend died. I don't remember if it was revealed right away.
It took a bit. It took a bit to find out,
but you had that feeling.
Like something's up.
Yeah.
Because this guitar was so important to him. Like, but why is it so important to him, right? And then eventually it's just like...
I just assumed straight from the start. I was like... Dead boyfriend, that's what it's got to be. Otherwise, the boyfriend would be teaching him about it and stuff. So
that could have been an issue of me just spoiling it for you. But I remember watching it and being like, oh yeah, like we find out about it later. He was just like, I think he might have said like a very important person gave this to me. Someone that meant a lot to me gave it to me. I'm like, oh okay, that sounds like someone that died. Has given this to you. And then we later find out it's his boyfriend. And yeah. But I remember very quickly, even like for the first episode, you and I talking about this in the past, where it's like. Yeah, they're gay. Like, it's like, there's, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it was great. I was just like, whoa, this is like right off the bat. It gives you those vibes.
Yeah, but it's just it's always, I always think it's so funny that, we bring this up that like culturally, Japan's not super cool about that. But,
I didn't think we were going to get as much action as we got.
But their media sometimes just happens to be so fucking gay. And it's okay. Like, it's such a good time. And yeah, I've learned that I do like I love love, right? Mm-hmm. Romance is one of my favorite, categories. Anything, boy, love, fucking great. It's always so much fun to watch these guys just like
this show. Every single character and all of their relationships were super captivating, and that was clearly the focal point of this show is to explore these different characters' relationships and all of their like flaws and hangups and them growing as a person.
Right.
Hang on, as a band at the same time. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it starts out. These main characters are in high school. You get a moody boy with black hair who plays guitar, and he's like super fucking cool and hot.
He's like a genius. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have this kid who looks sad and like he's daydreaming.
He's like invisible. Like no one knows what his deal is.
No, he's just a little redhead kid holding onto a guitar in the stairwell, and then they kind of hit it off.
They strike up a
weird
friendship,
way.
Yeah. A strange relationship where it's like, hey, this is where I take a nap. And it's like, well, this is where I sit. Well, fuck.
Yeah.
What are we going to do, essentially,
Yeah, and then you have an Adachi Shimamura thing going on,
Yeah. Fuck.
Which is also a fantastic gay show. I fucking loved their relationship.
So we're going to talk about the show first, right, before we get into the movie. Because the movie focuses on
a sequel.
On the two sides characters more, right? While the story progresses of the band growing and still in the movie, it's just not, these guys aren't, they're in the show just not as prominent. Which another time, like within the show, like I was watching those two characters and I go, are these guys gay? And it took a little bit longer. We're like, oh yeah, this guy has a crush on him. And the other guy, hooks up with dudes and chicks, like he must be bi or whatever. So yeah, it's like the whole band is just all, they're all about it. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. And their music fucking rocks. So
yeah, they play some very fun rock. Yeah,
I like the music.
It's very moody, which is cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of middle school. But I like it.
It's good.
I even usually when songs are played in animes, I just kind of listen to them. Even when they put the subtitles for their songs, I'll read their subtitles and I go, yeah, man, that hits right here. Thinking like, oh, because like I also feel like dawn is coming,
Yeah, well, because normally when those big moment songs happen in anime, it's like, yeah, it's kind of reflective of the whole story arc and stuff, and kind of an esoteric kind of way. But this is very direct to characters' experiences. So reading those kinds of lyrics is a very different thing than in another show where that's just kind of an extra thing that they gave you instead of a part of the plot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that part a lot, that they were able to give you lyrics that changed how much you enjoyed the song.
Yeah. I remember what my only real complaint about this show when I was watching it, was I don't think it's visually the most beautiful show. Like,
not all the time.
It has its moments, but it's not like, just wowing me at every moment. Like there's shows where if I pause it in the screen, it's like that's a picture, right? That's like
Sure.
You know what's like Violet Evergarden's like that show's gorgeous. Like this show isn't at that level, but it's good.
No, but it's also not bad at all.
No, not at all.
It's
I'm
really
saying like
good looking.
But the music's really great. And then they also do a thing where like their outlines are in red for some reason, and you're like, I think you were saying like, oh, because it's like a warm show, like the colors that they choose is like, I was like, it's a nice thing. I like it when shows don't do something too crazy, and they're just like, let's just add this little thing that's different that kind of make it stand apart. And
like the animation of Mob Psycho.
Yeah, super simple,
just
for
really
sure.
Subtle little differences.
Well, sometimes there's shows that do stuff like I remember like there's a show that added a white outline around everything, and I fucking hated it. And it was so annoying. But by the end of the show, I was like, oh, I'm used to it.
A Place Further Than the Universe, everything felt like really shiny? Like polished. I guess I think.
Okay,
like. Every person, every object had like a polish on them. They went through a tumbler for a little bit.
Yeah, they spit and they rubbed it like their chick's forehead when she got her haircut.
And I love that kind of art style of it all. There are lots of different art styles that work really well. And I think that Givens is a good combination of cool rock show as well as just like a very soft, romantic kind of lighting on everything.
Yeah. Also, pretty boys galore. Like every boy you see in the show
gorgeous.
Seems to be just a pretty boy. My favorite character in the show is a side character. He's the dude that I think he runs the club. He's got like the close side shaved down in the ponytail and the glasses
boy.
I don't know what about him. I'm like, I fucking like this guy
because he kind of just feels like a regular dude.
Feels like a nice person, right? Like, he's just a good dude. I was like, cool. And then,
I would be friends with him in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure. He seemed like such a great guy. And then he came back in the movie later, and I was like, yeah. Yes, the guy.
It's the guy I like. Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna do anything important, but he's there. And he's supporting their music and stuff. So it's shit like that. It's shit when a show can do something like have such a tiny character or do little tiny things and it be like, yeah, man, I'm enjoying all of this.
It's such a charming little world that they give us. So yeah, anyways, getting more into the characters, how we get to see them and stuff. The first two, they go to the same school.
Right.
That's how they meet each other. And then the one who kind of daydreams just follows the other one around.
Teach me how to play guitar.
Teach me how to play. All right, well, I've got band practice. Like, come with me there. And then he's enamored by everybody and how good they are at playing, even though they're like, we suck.
We sound horrible, yeah.
Yeah, at first it's like, oh, awesome. Hey, I told him that we're really good. You're like, what the fuck? Why would you tell him that? That kind of situation. Yeah. And yeah, then we get to meet the other band members. Essentially, there are just 4 main characters, and there are a bunch of little side characters. The black-haired boy has a sister who's important because she is crushing on the drummer.
Right.
And the bassist is
crushing on the drummer.
And everyone's in love with each other. It's a whole weird love.
I guess
it's fucking huge.
In the show, the drummer's love interest is shown, for a bit.
He's like barely there,
but he's there for a second.
Yeah,
which I didn't realize that until the movie came out, and I was just like, oh my god, this drummer. Because I feel like out of all the characters, the drummer seemed to be the weakest one.
Yeah, the one who didn't have as much of a story in the forefront.
Yeah, he was just kind of a brooding dude that was just like, I'm a cool guy and I hook up with a bunch of people.
And I keep turning your sister down.
Exactly. That was kind of his thing. And then the movie comes out, I'm just like, oh, this guy's so much deeper. Fuck, I love this guy. Oh, this guy's a monster. Oh, I fucking love this guy,
The characters were really fun to explore, like
they're compelling.
How they introduce us to them, how they're seen later on, how they develop, and how they end up. All of their story arcs were really interesting to me because they felt like genuine.
Genuine, yeah. They felt real, like real people.
Except for a little part of the movie, which I was like, oh man, if that happened, I don't know if I would support it in the real world.
It felt too real is the issue, bro.
I know.
But yeah, so let's just wrap up the show real quick and we'll go into the movie. But
wrap up the anime show.
Yeah, the anime. So the anime, I think it's great. I think it's worth watching. And I think it's really cool.
It's a short, sweet 11 episodes, right?
And
12 maybe?
And it's like, I think it's 11 or 12, but it does end with like, them continuing to be a band and be like, all right, we're going to keep doing this because they're super young. They're like 2 of them are in college, 2 of them are in high school, but
it wasn't the finale, but it was the like semi-finale.
Yeah.
That had the big moment that it had been building up to.
Right.
And then that last episode was just a little bit of cleanup with a nice little confession.
Yeah. So it just, I really like that this show was able to, put us in a world, meet characters that we seem to like, and then later on in the movie, focus on some of these characters that didn't have as much play. So overall, great show. I think Given's absolutely worth a watch. I don't think it's for everybody. There's obviously not everybody's going to like this type of movie, show or whatever, but for their own reasons, whether they don't like boy love or whatever, they don't like music, shows or whatever. But I think it's a good one. I had a really good time with Given back then. With what I watched now too.
In the anime, the show, did they have any sex at all? Was sex ever a thing?
Yeah, we saw like
because in the movie for sure
we saw a glimpse of like our guitar boy with the red hair, Hook having his first encounter with his
that was a part of the show. Yeah.
I remember that being, and I think maybe the drummer dude hooked up with somebody, but
which I think is pretty big. It's pretty candid for them to do things like that.
Obviously, it's not super like explicit, but it's very like, oh, they're having sexual relations of some sorts. It's like
incredibly obvious what's going on.
Yeah, they're breathing heavy, they're sweating. You go,
and they're talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's shit like that, but it's not off-putting. But maybe not for everybody. It was
handled pretty tastefully, right? Because when it comes down to a lot of different anime, we're all used to fan service. We're all used to watching something and then boobs, ass, panties, abs, all that shit. Fan service all over the place. This didn't feel like fan service ever.
No.
I mean, you had pretty boys, but they were just being good looking.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when it did get to those sexual things where it got to like kissing and sex, it never felt like we were seeing something from like an outsider perspective. Right. It felt like this was an intimate part of their lives
that we got to glimpse, right?
Yeah, that it fundamentally changed our characters too. It's not just these little moments where it's there for the viewers.
It's like you want to see it happen. Here it is. Yeah, no, it didn't feel like that. It felt like it was, like it was. It needed to happen in the story for those people. Like it felt real, right? So it was okay. Yeah, it was fine.
I like the authenticity.
There's some people who, maybe like they can't handle that kind of mature stuff, so they won't like it or whatever. But fuck them. Grow up, watch Given if you and hopefully you enjoy it.
What a good romance.
Yeah,
like, it was just so good. And then getting into the movie, it didn't feel like it needed a movie, and it gave us a movie,
right?
And I'm glad it gave us a movie.
Yeah, like I said, the movie does build off these other the two characters that are in the band that don't get as much play. We know that the bassist has feelings for the drummer. The drummer seems to be oblivious, but later to find out in the movie, the drummer knows. Like he's not dumb, but show,
he's got some complicated shit, some real complicated shit.
Yeah, but the show led me to believe like, oh, he's oblivious or couldn't care less. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we got to see that because I'm like, oh, cool. This is also a great story. Now, do I think you can watch the Given movie without watching Given the show? Probably not. This is one of those cases where I feel like you have to have that. You have to have that base. Yeah. You can't just because this is a sequel. Obviously, it picks up pretty recent after the show or whatever.
It was a year after the show.
So so like you have to have that to enjoy this. I'm sure you can watch the movie. I just don't think it's going to be as impactful as it would have been if you watched the show before. So we're following the bassist and the drummer mostly. We get to find out that the drummer is in a very like unhealthy relationship with a violinist, right? That goes to the same college as they do. And we also find out that he doesn't have a good relationship. The drummer doesn't have a good relationship with his parents. We don't know why. I think it's like they said that after their parents got divorced, like they just had the huge falling out or whatever. So it might not even be an issue of him being,
I mean, he might have told his parents at all. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even know because it just seems like he's just done with them. So he ends up living with this, this violinist who's really good. And he's, I don't know how to say, like he's attracted to him because he's such a genius or whatever.
Yeah, he's so incredibly talented.
But he's also very envious of like his talent, and then seeing how good he is at the violin and how hard he works is making him hate kind of music, right? Like he's like just not fucking with it anymore. And that's like kind of the story. It's like it's the drummer, trying to love himself, figure out what his shit is, and then love music because he plays in the band, he does all these things, but he's not really happy, right? He doesn't know what's like really going on. Meanwhile, our bassist, the nicest boy in the world, is just sadly stuck on this roller coaster ride. Like all he's guilty of is liking this other character. It just sucks that this other character comes with a huge amount of baggage. that maybe he's not ready to deal with because it's kind of heavy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the moment that we were talking about, where we were talking about like, hey, it gets super not cool, was eventually we get to a point where our drummer is struck by his boyfriend, who I guess they'd broken up, right? He's essentially just living at his place, and squatting, but they were cool with it because they would hook up now and then, but they were technically not together.
Yeah, it was an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Essentially, they each wanted out of it, but they
couldn't do it, right? They can't get. So his genius boyfriend said, hey, I'm bringing my new boyfriend home. I need you not to be there when I get there. And so he walks in on them, and they're sleeping after, I'm assuming, having like relationships, and he gets mad. And so he gets hit in the face by this dude. He asked the bassist if he could like stay with him for the night. He's like, sure. They're drinking, alcohol. And our fucking drummer just like pounces on the bassist, right? He's just he's like, tell me what's going on. Like, what?
Sexually assaults him.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's
the whole time the bassist is saying like,
no,
stop,
please. Yeah.
Don't.
And like, he's like forcing himself on him, like reaching down his pants. And I was like, at that point, I'm like, oh no. I go, is this why this is a movie? Because it's going to be in the TV show. Like, is it going to go to that level? It stops eventually. He stops. He apologizes for like his actions. He's like, hey, I don't. He's like, and the bass is like, look, fucking stay here tonight. I'm leaving. Don't be here when I get back.
Yeah, and then again, the drummer apologizes for his actions. He's like, look, man, I wanted it too. I just,
not like this, right?
Yeah.
Like, and he's also like, so he's also mad at him for apologizing. It's like, you're not even apologizing for the thing that I'm mad about, right? So stop fucking apologizing. Like, it's just like all these levels to that led to this weird, horrible heading, right? And it's just like, fuck. It's like he wasn't ready for this situation, and the drummer's just like, oh, dude, I really fucked up. I'm going through my own shit, and it's not fair for me to put all of this onto you. And that's what I did, right? And again, it felt like a very real, raw, almost like I don't know if I could keep watching this moment.
It definitely felt like if it doesn't end right now,
if this goes on for 10 more minutes, it was like,
but it ended right then. So.
It was handled fairly quick,
the turnaround quickly on an awkward situation.
Yeah.
And then a very problematic situation wound up being like hey, they're like, we're totally cool.
I gotta
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. But I really did like the bassist coming back the next day and him being like, you're still fucking here, essentially. Like, go, and the drummer's like, I have nowhere to go. And like this is how they very oddly start almost their relationship. It's just like, I'll stay here. I'll sleep on the floor. I'll cook and clean. Like I don't have anywhere else to go. And he's just like, fine. And that's very nice, I guess, because I don't know how all relationships start. Like they're all different essentially. So like this is an example of how some relationships don't start off on the best foot. And this is absolutely not the way you would want to start a relationship. But it does show us that like, that something good could come out of it, because our character definitely became a better person because of living with the bassist. He's like, oh, love doesn't have to be this thing that I've been used to with this other guy, right? Like it can be kind and like caring and not be abusive and not be fucking just bad, right? Which is really nice. I feel like it was a good message. It was shitty because we had to get to that really fucked up place for it to kind of level out. But I mean, I just don't know how else you would have done that. Like, we really needed to see that breaking point, that point where it's just like, oh my God, this guy is really damaged and needs help, essentially.
Yeah, but then even after all of that, after all of the difficult situations that we got to see involving those two characters in particular, it still came back around to being honest with each other and opening up in a new, different way, which I appreciated, especially the fact that the drummer eventually does ask, in a totally different context, they're hanging out on a bench and being emotional together. Then he was able to ask, like, can I touch you? Is that okay? Starting very much from scratch, where they would normally be okay hugging each other. Instead, it's
Yeah. Well, I think that comes after like so much, like that part comes at near the very end. But we do see that our bassist is also dealing with like him feeling like inadequate, right? Because he feels like everybody else around him is just so good at what they do, especially with music. And knowing that the guy that he likes this violinist who is a fucking genius or whatever, makes him feel like really shitty about himself. So that made me feel really bad for him, because it's like that's not fair, for him to think that he's not worthy of the love of this character, of this other person who in himself is also kind of a bad dude. At least at this point in time, he's in a bad place. He grows, the bassist grows, right? He realizes, hey, I don't have to be a genius bassist. It's good for me to be as a supporting cast to all these other people. They end up, being able to play music better together. They are like on a more like even wavelength. And it leads to our drummer eventually realizing, oh, I have to officially like cut this off. Like I have to go back to this place, which really worried me. I was like, oh my God, he's going to go back to the arms of this person. Which is upsetting, because that happens often, right? With like relationships, people like they're so used to the toxic, unhealthy stuff,
cycle of abuse,
and
man.
They'll leave and they go, oh, never again, and they come back, right? So it's like, oh no. And in my head when I was watching this, I was like, fuck, is he coming back? And if he comes back, I was just like, fucking props to them for doing this, because that's a very real thing. It's really hard for that cycle to end.
Things might go. Given was overall just a very positive show and movie in the end. Which was so much easier to watch than something else. It could have been, It could have been really dramatic and over the top for the characters currently. Instead, we just got flashbacks of all the problems essentially, while working them out, and without having them occur for the first time. Yeah, it was really interesting, because even the relationship between the drummer and his boyfriend, that was like all in flashbacks.
Yeah. We got to see like glimpses of them, and it was mostly just them kind of being at that tail end of being like, we should no longer be together, right? You were saying, but them not being able to kind of pull the trigger.
Yeah.
That the fucking it was just a bad situation. But I do like that the drummer decides to become a better person, and when he does at the very end, like, hey, can I ask if I have consent to touch the person or whatever, the bassist. He is saying, the bassist is actually having like a monologue beforehand, being like, oh my God, like I haven't seen him in so long. He moved out. He's going back to school, essentially saying like he's changed, and he's like worried, right? Like, he's like,
plus he specifically says like, I want to be a better person because of you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so like that. So the bassist is like worried, like, oh, I don't even know him anymore. And then the drummer's like, no, I'm changing because I want to be worthy of your love, essentially. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. When that happened, I was like, that is the most beautiful thing I've heard. Exactly. I was like, God damn it, my heart is fucking falling apart right now.
Oh, it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah. And then, they do embrace, and he asks like, hey, he's like, he says, I love you. He's like, will you be, can I be your boyfriend or whatever? And then the fucking credits roll. I'm like, oh no, my fucking heart. And then if you stay long enough after the credits, you get an answer.
Yeah.
Which was really nice.
Which was no.
No, yeah. I thought it'd be really funny if he was like, no, fuck you, dude. Like,
the end.
No, the bassist says that he'd be gladly be, with them and stuff, and they're really happy, and they're like, okay, let's go home, and let's go home together, essentially,
Yeah.
It was such a beautiful story. I really was at the end of that movie when they say yes. I was just like, yeah.
Dude, it was such a good movie. It was a great continuation of the show.
Yeah.
Because it also did something different, where the show was, of course, about all the characters' relationships, whether it was a romantic relationship or friendship or whatever, all of their different relationships. It had a heavy focus. That was the show's focal point. Except our main boy, who has the red hair, who's the singer for the group, it was more about his past trauma and overcoming it, and finding a source through music to express his emotions about his past problems.
Right.
And when we got that moment where he's able to say everything and to let himself be open and free, and it really connects and resonates with so many people, that was like the highlight, the top point of the show.
Right.
Where the movie was much more of like a romantic confession. That was very romantic. Like,
right.
So well done.
Yeah.
Not too dramatic.
It did, at no point did I feel like, I don't believe this,
Yeah. Everything felt very just like
real.
Chill,
grounded.
I mean, it wasn't super grounded and like authentic. It wasn't all that.
That's how my love story went.
Their relationships did feel like something that you could see. Maybe not the entire story, maybe a bit of overreactions for certain things,
Right.
but it also felt like it was taking its time and wanted to give you the right story without rushing anything.
Right, for sure.
Which was, of course, the best part about this is that it didn't rush anything. It gave you time to sit with these characters and wonder, who are they? What's going on through their head?
How are they going to deal with this?
It reveals everything and how they are interacting with each other in different situations. It was such a good time. Just a really good drama, really good romance.
Yeah, and then because this is a continuation of the show, our main boys, like the redheaded boy and the black-haired boy, they're still in it, and there's still that sub, B plot where like they're doing another, I think they're trying to enter like a festival, so they have to do an audition, they have to write a new song, and the redheaded boy's like, hey, I want to write a new song with new lyrics, and they're all kind of confused. They're just like, didn't you just write your one song that you had in your heart? Like you have more in you, essentially.
Yeah, and he essentially goes like, yeah, I just don't know how to sing yet.
Yeah.
I want to be better at that.
Exactly.
And everything else.
Where he makes that decision, like, hey, I want to write music. And then he kind of accidentally, like, inserts himself in these two guys' relationships because he goes,
ah, shit, this violinist, I didn't realize you could have so much emotion just in music.
Yeah, and
I could do that with my voice.
I just love how he gets invited to the violin concert or whatever, and then is like, cool, I know that guy a little bit. He ends up going to his like apartment when this guy's at his lowest low, the ex-boyfriend, and he's just like, hey dude, is a drummer here? No. He's just like, no, are you looking for him? He's like, no, can we talk? It's just like, and after the conversation, he's able to like write this new song or whatever, which I also really fucking enjoyed. I was like, this song is fucking good.
It was very good.
And that song again, like the first time in the show, like it resonated with a bunch of people. It made him feel different. And there's people in the audience crying. Our drummer is just like, what the fuck? He's like, he's enjoying music for the first time in a very long time, and it leads him to like becoming a better person. So I was like, this guy's pipes are fucking heal, dude. They're fucking great. So yeah, given the show, given the movie, awesome. Do I think I agree with you. I don't think we needed another movie, but God, I'm glad I had it.
Oh yeah, and it added a lot to it, but it didn't feel like it was necessary in any way. It just felt like it was a gift.
Yeah, they were giving it to us. Yeah.
It did also explain why the band is called Given, right?
Yeah,
that was when they made that decision.
I think so.
I guess why the show is called Given. That was them deciding their band name.
No, that happened at the last episode, I think.
It was the last.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was the last conversation.
Yeah, they're like at a cafe or whatever. And they're like writing shit down. I will say though, like, I don't think Given this universe needs more. If they're able to produce more and give us compelling stories, I will gladly see it. Like I will gladly watch it, right? But do I think like I need a season 2 of Given that continues off this? I don't think so.
It's another hard thing. I forgot earlier on. This was made by the studio Lerche.
Lerche, yeah.
Yeah, who we like, but they don't have the consistency of like, yeah, these are the same kinds of stories that they like to tell.
Yeah, for sure.
That kind of thing. So you'll get things like Assassination Classroom season 1 and 2? Or
I think so.
Yeah. They also did Magical Girl Raising Project.
Right, banger. Yeah.
Which we absolutely loved. And
you can't see the correlations between Given and Magic Girl Raising Project?
No,
you poor thing.
I'm sorry, man. I think they've done some very interesting, different things. But Given is, I think, the best romance that they've done.
I think that's like the Toilet Bound show. The Toilet Bound. Oh, cough, sneeze. Good, well done. Wow, pro. 5 years later.
Hey.
But yeah, if they made another season, I would watch it. Because so far everything they've done is good, but if it's like if they just did it for the sake of doing it, like and they didn't have a compelling story or like because I don't even care about the plot. Like I don't give a fuck if the band does amazing, right?
Well,
I just love the characters, right? So like I feel like they've done such a good job of like these characters are a good point where I'm okay for them to be at that point forever in my brain, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of imagine what would happen. But yeah, it's really good. I'd gladly accept more if it's good. I hope they don't do it just for the sake of doing it, which I don't think they will. But it was nice. It was good stuff.
What was the name of that romance? I think it was from last season.
About what?
The girl and the boy. It was.
Oh, dude, I got you.
Horimiya.
Yeah. Word.
So that
Shut
show,
up, bitch. Yeah. What took you so long? Yeah, exactly.
That show had a lot of romance that I really appreciated.
Okay.
And then they branched off to all these other characters that I feel like we didn't get enough build up for a lot of their situations.
Right, especially by the way it ended. You're like,
but they had such a big cast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could have reeled it back a bit and then explored a little bit more. And I understand that they were going based off of 4-koma manga, so that's a little bit harder to do. But for Given, I think that if they were able to introduce more characters to their web of friends, their like more musician friends and stuff, or like they get more into the scene,
or they have the glasses and the shaved sides,
exactly. Some people that he knows. I think that we could explore new relationships between these characters that keep the show fresh and interesting.
Okay,
without feeling repetitious.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
We haven't already seen this before. We've got new characters, and we get to explore their plot lines and our main core of the band Given, they're still like very, very frequent.
Yeah.
That would be a good season 2 situation.
Oh, yeah.
To focus on different members of other bands or whatever.
As long as they're able to do something like new and different, right? Because these are both love stories, right? They're just two very different ones, right? Like, and different sides of the big gambit, right? Like, so if obviously there's all kinds of love. So if they can get in between there somewhere and it has like those compelling characters and those developments, I would love that. I just don't want it to be like, maybe like Horimiya by the end point where it's just like, all right, let's have the entire cast and they do all these wacky things where like that, I agree. Like that wasn't my favorite part of the show. I really liked the two characters falling in love and the relationship building. So yeah, but man, Given's good. So right,
sure was.
I don't have anything else to say besides that this is great. I think it does a lot of good things, and people should be checking it out. If you haven't seen it and this sounds interesting, give it a watch. It's on Crunchyroll.
Super easy to watch too. Like it doesn't feel like you're spending much time or effort on it.
Yeah. The movie's also under an hour, just so super short.
Very easy, simple watch. You can watch it in a weekend. It's great.
It's good. Cool, man. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Next week?
What is it?
I don't know. What are we doing next week?
March comes in like a lion.
Right, we did talk about
seasons 1 and 2.
For sure. And then after that, we don't know. We got a bunch of stuff coming up that's getting released on Netflix. We also going to have to do the wrap up and preview pretty soon. That's going to come up. Oh, Anime Expo Light.
There we go.
So yeah, we got some stuff that's going to be coming in pretty hot. Yeah, man. We'll figure it out. We'll get around to all of it.
Dude, what if Her Blue Sky just like drops out of nowhere and we finally get to watch that?
Which one's that? Is that the movie we really want to watch?
It's the movie we really want to watch. Yeah, it'll happen.
That'd be sick.
Violet Evergarden movie. We also got to see that one.
Yeah, we're also going to watch that fucking Train movie.
The Train movie.
With the Demon Slayers? Train to Busan,
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, yeah.
Remember the best anime movie ever?
Yeah. Infinity Gauntlet, yeah.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's it. I guess that's it for the show. We'll figure it out, right? What we're doing in these future weeks because we got next week done. Okay, so if you like our theme song, check out Not Mars on Spotify. Trip, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instant Ramen Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instant Ramen Podcast. If you want to tweet at us, tweet at Instant Ramen Pod.
August 5th.
And you could go ahead and email us, instramenpodcast@gmail.com. Every week we stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Crispather. And that's going to be sometime between 8 and 9, usually more towards 9 Pacific Coast time on Wednesdays before the podcast comes out on Thursday.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. It's been great just like chatting and doing a podcast like we always do every week. And thanks for everyone that was able to come and tune in with us. And we'll still be hanging out with you for a minute.
Email in if you watched Given and enjoyed it, or if you got anything like Given that you would recommend. Because if more of this shit, send it my way.
Or if you've seen Wandering Sun, because I would love to see that.
Yeah, we can't seem to find it anywhere, and we're not gonna steal shit.
Nah, we gotta support the industry, baby.
Support the industry. All right, this is bye for one.
See you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.